If you haven't heard about Anchor, it's the easiest way to make a podcast. Let me explain. Number one is that it's free. Secondly, there's creation tools that allows you to record and edit your podcast right from your phone or computer. Funny enough, I am using my phone most of the times, and sometimes I use my computer. And another one is that Anchor will distribute your podcast for you for free, so it can be heard on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, and many more. Google Podcasts is also inclusive, and the more platforms you get, the more listens you get, and that on and on and on. And you can make money from your podcast. This is very interesting, with no minimum listenership. It's everything you need to make a podcast just in one place. So go ahead and download free Anchor app or go to anchor.fm to get started. Just type Anchor on Google Play Store and you're good to go. Or you can type anchor.fm on your browser. Fine.
Yeah, good morning. It's Moses Nightingale, and it's a beautiful morning, a beautiful day here. And I welcome you to Society and our podcast. This is a very good platform that brings about various issues across lives, across society, that cut across gender, that cut across ethnic, cut across different horizons of life. And it's your favorite host, Moses Nightingale, and this morning I'm going to be speaking and discussing on peace of mind. Having peace of mind. It is so underrated how peace of mind has been undermined these days. Peace of mind is a state of mental, emotional balance and calm. A state where you are free of the fears of life. You're free of stress. You're free of worries. And when your mind attains this state, it seems to be quiet, and you experience a sense of happiness and freedom. And this feeling is so subtle. Such peaceful moments are not as rare as you may think, though we live in a world where everything goes south, most things go south, and it's hard to differentiate between happiness and joy, something that is temporal and something that is eternal, something that is you enjoy temporarily, and something that lasts long. And you have experienced this kind of moment at times when you were engaged in some kind of absorbing or even interesting activity. As rare as there seem to be those moments of peace and harmony with nature, there are times you enjoy them at utmost what have you. And there are some few examples of a state of being peaceful, being in the company of people you love. You feel this ambience of calm, ambience of love. You feel important and valued, and sometimes walking in your favorite place in nature. Most of the times we have this picture in our head, a kind of settings, economics where we would love to walk and have and be fulfilled in life. Sometimes it is being absorbed in reading a particular book. Most of us novels, understand, some romance novels, some just a piece of literature. You feel this ambience of peace. And sometimes while lying on warm sand at the beach, especially with people you love to, there is no boundary when it comes to relationship. Peace extends through the horizons of relationship as well. That we can never overemphasize. On vacations, when you sometimes experience mental rest and forget about your work and day-to-day life, For example, after you marriage and during your honeymoon, you understand that moment that, oh, I'm not married. I'm just thinking for those who are married already. So those moments are some of those moments you enjoy peace at its peak. And sometimes when you are in deep sleep, when you are not aware of anything, and some people's hobby is sleep, I'm telling you, that's a very wonderful hobby as such. I really hope I could have such as hobby, And sometimes during your conscious deep breathing and meditation, some of these activities and smaller ones, and they take the mind away from these usual thoughts and worries and replace them with an experience of inner peace. You just enjoy harmony with yourself and you feel synchronized with the nature around you. And how can you bring more peace of mind into your life? This is a question that most people ask, especially those who are in the realm of corporate work, and most times, is being spent in their workplace. Talk about the 996 people, those of us who work from morning till evening, and you spend about 12-13 hours in work, and you spend an hour on the road, and you spend another hour doing miscellaneous stuffs, and you have just less than 10 hours to spend with yourself and your family and friends. And how you can actually experience it in times of difficulties and ordeals. You might also want to know whether it is possible to turn it into an habit, yes, to turn this peaceful ambience, inner state of deep state of peace of mind. You might want to turn it to habit and enjoy it all the time and under all circumstances. This morning I got some short tips for you so you can do to enjoy more peace in your life. We have already disturbances in this life. Most people suffering from abuse of different kinds, of various caliber and levels, and some people peace of mind is far from them due to past decisions that had been made, wrong ones as such. And most of the times we just sit back and ruminate on the wrong relationships we find ourselves, and some of the wrong projects yes we've got our hands on. And the first of the tips this day I'm going to discuss with you is to minimize and curate the time you spend reading newspapers or watching the news on the TV, or the time you spend on reading news on Twitter, on Facebook. The social media is so coarse these days. You find everything on it, though both the bad and the good. Most of the time the news are negative, and sometimes they tend to manipulate, and there's usually nothing you can do about it because it's the opinion of the news giver. Whatever it is, why feel stress and anxious over something you can't even change? Yes, Donald Trump is being voted out of the United States presidency, and Joe Biden is becoming the new president. And some people are saying this election was frauded, and you are saying no, it's not frauded, or you are saying yes, it's frauded, and someone else is saying it's not frauded. Tell me, whenever the new president is sworn in, whenever the old president is taking the seat again, what is your power? What can you do about it? There is absolutely nothing. The only thing the news has to offer you is to cause emotional imbalance in you. So some of the things you can't change in life, just learn to avoid them. Don't even go close to them. It's very harmful and toxic to your health. Secondly, do not enter into any negative conversation and stay away from people who are pessimistic. This is very important. People who brings about negative discussions, it is very toxic to your mental health. It's very toxic. You don't want their thoughts, you don't want their words and energy to affect you, even if it can, even if it can be helped. The third thing, this was discussed in one of the episodes of my recent podcast, and talking about how to maintain joy in your life. Your joy, your life. This happens to be grudges, holding grudges with people. Do not hold. Under no circumstance should you be found and bringing yourself low to the point of holding grudge with people. It is enlightened self-interest to learn to move on and forgive. This is very important. Though to forget is, to forget is not totally human, but you can learn to move on. You can learn to move on after you've forgiven. Nurturing these heal feelings and grievances hurt you in diverse ways, and this includes poor sleep. It causes you to sleep. It causes your sleep to be intercepted. You don't need to be jealous of others, especially you don't need to be negatively jealous about others' achievement. It's toxic, very toxic to your destiny and your purpose. It's very toxic to your own personal achievement, because it will always make you undermine your own effort just to idolize someone else's effort. Jealousy means you have a program running that says, I'm not good enough. Yes, and jealousy, low self-esteem rob your peace of mind. Get neutral to that program. When someone is achieving success, learn to celebrate with them. Another thing is for you to accept what cannot be changed. As earlier said, this saves a lot of time and a lot of your energy and worries. Every day you face numerous inconveniences from discussions, from work, from colleagues, and irritations and situations that are beyond your control. If you can change them, great, very beautiful. But if you can't change them, get neutral to needing them to be different. Just put a bar on them and just sideline it. And one other thing is for you to avoid evoking unpleasant memories and immersing yourself in them. How can you just sit back and want to think about your ex once more? The relationship that was very, very absolutely abusive, and then you want to pick some exact moments in it. There is no way the bitterness of such relationship wouldn't flash back to you. It will always come back to you, and those the exhaust of those relationships where you were maltreated or ill treated will always choke you, and that is not good. Forget about the relationship that costed you tears, that costed you cry without nothing. Do you understand? So or else you just be evoking unpleasant memories and sink yourself in, and you might be Stockholmed in it, and you have nothing to fear. Be patient and tolerant with your family, your friends, your co-workers, your boss. If you've got employees, you just have to be patient with them and everyone else. Patience is a virtue. Patience is a virtue. Patience, what it does to you? Patience actually reduces your blood pressure. I'm telling you, medically, patience does that and gives you hope. And one thing you just have to be very mindful of is not to take things personal. Learn not to take things personal. If someone hurts you, it is not always about you. When someone does something that you think hurts you, it has more to say about the person, and it has very little or less to say about you. And then one other gift you must give yourself is to ensure you train your mind. You can train your mind to reject worries and anxieties, and you can refuse to think negative thoughts and eliminate constant or usually negative, mind chatter. Sometimes your mind just drift away to something negative, but then you just must invest in your mind in such a way that to think anything